Hey everyone, this is My SharePoint Questions and I am Andrew Hess. So I did skip last week. I didn't create a video. I was off to Disney World. I took a little vacation. I got a little mug to bring back with me, a little Star Wars mug, so I love it. But today, what I wanted to do, is I was thinking of brand new, fresh ideas. I wanted to create an entire app. And so we were working on this app last month with different content types. And we have two different forms. So we have one for regular projects and software projects. So I wanted to extend on that. And I have a strong project management background. So I was working on this list a few weeks ago, last month mostly. And we created some line items here with different content types. So if you want to figure out how we created these content types for regular projects and software projects, you can do that. But I was thinking, okay, in Power Apps, let's create like a project dashboard. Like, so we can view all of our projects. We can see the red, yellow, greens. Let's take a look on Google. So when we search on Google, not Bing, sorry. We search on Google. We can look at different project dashboards. I don't want to associate this to any companies, but each of these companies create dashboards in different ways. A lot of them show the red, yellow, greens. This one shows progress, risks, budget. So I was thinking, okay, let's create our own project dashboard, but let's do it in Power Apps, right? These project dashboards that you see here can sell for so much money. These companies, they'll bring in their consultants. I used to be one. They'll bring in their consultants and they'll try and sell you these project dashboards and, to keep your projects in order. But let's do it in Power Apps. And we're going to use SharePoint as a data source. Let's create a new screen. So I'm going to just choose blank screen. And this is where our gallery is going to be. Now, if I wanted to do this correctly, what I'm really going to do is I'm going to input a couple of containers. So the first one is going to be a vertical container. I'm going to insert a vertical container here. And actually, I don't want it to be the entire width. We'll put it right there. And then I'm going to insert another container. And the reason I'm doing containers is so the app is responsive. So if you shrink the window or you have a smaller screen than other people, the app will actually respond to that and keep your data or the view equal to your screen. And then I'm going to add one more container, and this one is going to be horizontal. So I have 3 containers. And this is very similar to what Power Apps has out of the box, right? They have this sidebar. So I'm going to show you this one, but there's just one thing. I'm just picky. There's one thing that I don't like is I want this container to take up the entire space here, the header container. I want the header to be the entire width. So on my screen, on screen 3, you can see my container takes up the entire width instead of leaving that this container 3, if you can see that. Instead of having container 3 be all the way up here, I like to have my toolbar at the very top. In container 1, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a gallery. Normally I start right here with the vertical gallery, and I just prefer to do that even though if I don't have any pictures, because it gives me 2 fields to pull in here. So I'm going to delete this picture part, and this is just out of habit. Something that I do. All right, so now I have my list of projects. Now this is my list of projects. If we go to SharePoint, we can see I have 4 here. We have different titles and a little bit of data in here. And I'm just pulling that in to Power Apps. I just created the data source, connected it, and pulled in that to my gallery. Now we have my title here. Now I just want to go over a few things you can do here. Let me move my picture. Okay, I moved my picture so we can see over here on the right side. Now in my gallery, because I put this in a container, when I created my gallery, I selected my container first. There's a few more features in here, and we can align to the container. You know, we can choose if we want it on the left side alignment, or in the center, or on the right side, or I believe this is stretch. So this fills the entire container. So our gallery fills the entire container. There's a couple more things we could do, like fill portions. So we can say, all right, so right now we only have one part in here. If we wanted to add another, let's say, how about 2 galleries in here? So, and we wanted the container to work for us and not do all this extra work with, you know, filling in the custom width and all this. Change the direction to horizontal. And let's say we move the gallery to just the start. And let's put in another gallery. You notice how it filled in that space for us automatically. And when we go to the gallery, so we have 2 different galleries, we can see here fill portions. So just think of this like a fraction. So on the left side, where this is 1 of 2, and on the right side it's 1 of 2. We could, you know, come in here and fill it in and say it's 2 of 3. And then if we go to the right side and we say 2, it'll say 2 of 4, and we're back to half and half. So just think of this like a fraction of your container, your fill portions. That's what's going on there. But for this demonstration, I'm just going to use the full width, and we will stretch it. So we're going to use the full width of the container for our gallery. Now in our gallery, let's I'm going to make a little bit more space here because I want a little bit more space. Okay. On the right side, we're going to have our projects and our project title. Another thing we can do is, if you look down here at the gallery, there's actually a wrap count. I think most people know this now, but you can actually, you know, show multiple projects as you increase the wrap count. So if we increase the wrap count to 4, we can show multiple projects, maybe lower the font size down to something where Power Apps will read it. But we can show 4 projects now in one view. And, you know, maybe you wanted to show your red, yellow, greens in here. And so what I'm going to do actually is I'm just going to keep it down to 1 for now. Maybe we'll switch it back later. So the wrap count, I'm going to change it back to 1. So we have 4 different projects right now, and we have actual work. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to choose title and subtitle, but we're going to add some more in here. All right, so we have, let's see, this is actual work. So I'm just going to fill in actual work. And this dot actual work. And we'll put in a semicolon here. So I'm just going to design this really quickly. Okay. So now we're showing our projects, and we have actual work, actual spend in there. And this is literally pulling from the data of my SharePoint list. So if we look at SharePoint, these are my 4 list items that we're pulling from. All right, so now from the home screen, I'm going to create a button. And this button it's going to be in the center, and it's going to create a new project. So this button will create a new project, and the width will be a good bit more. There we go. So let's create the new button, and the width is a little bit more. And this button is going to new form regular, because that's where I'm going to start you. I'm going to start you off with a regular project, and then it's going to navigate to screen 1 on a fade. Let's see, I can't spell navigate right. Let's see, navigate to screen 1 on a fade. Okay, so it's going to navigate. It's going to be under regular project. I'm going to hide this because I want people to choose the content type at the top. So I'm going to hide this visible. I'm going to make that invisible, and I'm going to change content types to project type. All right, so now when we come in here, we have two different, on software projects, I'm also going to make this visible, not true. Just so, the user doesn't need to know the behind the scenes what I'm doing there. But this is just two different types of projects we have. We have regular projects and software projects. And they do have different fields depending on what we're going to do here. All right, so now we can create a new project and we have a list of our projects. Let's go ahead and create a new project. I'm going to do a regular project. I'm just going to make up something, software analysis, maybe only 20 hours of actual work. And project status is in the yellow, but we're still planning. Actual spend will be 5,000 and the budget is 7,000. Maybe that's why we're in the yellow. And I'm going to submit. So that's going to write to SharePoint. Now when we submit, what I want to do is on success. So let's see here. Advanced. On success, I'm going to navigate back to my home screen on a fade. So now when it's successful, it's going to navigate back to our home screen. And you can see we now have our new project here. And if you notice, I didn't put in a person. So let's add a button in here. Or an icon. Let's do an icon, and it will be a simple pencil tool. And we'll move all this over just a little bit. And this simple pencil tool is going to edit what we just wrote in there. So it's going to select the parent and navigate to screen 1. Now, when we click on this and we navigate, right, it's not going to actually display any content because we have to go to our form and change our items property of our form to the gallery. So if we look over here, it's gallery 2 dot selected. And I'm going to do the same thing for my software projects. It's going to be gallery 2.selected. Okay, so now let's go back and try it again. So if we click on our new one, the JKL software analysis, it's going to bring up the old data, or it's still in software project. For the project lead, I'll put in myself. All right, and submit, and it's rewriting to SharePoint. We can see I have a new line item. The JKL software analysis and all of our data in here. And we have our yellow status. So I want to pull in this green, yellow, and maybe we'll add a red project in there. So this one's going to be red. So we'll just make up some numbers in here. And this one's going to be in the red. I want it for... And we'll say that I have the project that's in the red, but it's a cheaper project. But let's say it's red and it's in the run phase. Sometimes your projects do go bad, and we will write and check that out. So we now have a regular project in here. It is in the red project status. I want to add that red, yellow, green into our gallery here. So let's make a little bit more space again. And I'm going to add that icon. An icon of a stoplight, which is actually just a circle. And we want to fill it based on our selection. So fill, and I believe right now we have RGBA, and we can't just go in here and do this item dot project status. I don't believe that's going to work. Dot value, because it's a text value. It doesn't realize that that's a color. So what we're going to do is I'm going to do a switch statement. Switch statement. This item dot project status dot value. If it's red, then we want it to be red. If it's yellow, we want it to be yellow. And if it's green, we want it to be green. And let's see if that works here. There we go. All right, so that quickly, we just created a stoplight for our projects. And we can see that, you know, we have a few green projects, we got a yellow project, and we have a red project. All right, so now that we have our gallery here with all of our projects, I want to add a chart in here. I'm going to add a chart, and it's not going to be in a container just for simplistic reasons. I'm just going to put it right here in this white space. And we're going to add the chart. And for the data, we're going to say it's, we have to connect it. So the items will be our project list. So both the chart and our data down here is our project list. And for the values, what we want to show is red, yellow, green. And I don't believe I can do that right now because it's not a number, right? So in order to show my red, yellow, greens, I'm going to actually pull this into, I'm going to do the work on, I could do it on the SharePoint side, or I could do it on the Power Apps side. And instead of creating a collection in Power Apps, I'm just going to do it on the SharePoint side. So let's go back to SharePoint. I'm going to create a calculated field. And this field is going to be calculated. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to change the calculated column to a number. What I'm going to do is I'm going to create a nested if. I'm going to say if, we're going to go project status is equal to green, then we'll give it a 1. Then if project status is equal to yellow, then it's 2, and then we're going to say else. I'm going to add another comma, else. It's 3 with 2 ending parentheses. So if project status is equal to green, it's 1. If project status is equal to yellow, then it's 2, else it's 3. And we're going to try and save that. Let's see if it lets us. All right. So I want to create a chart, and I want to show all the reds, yellows, and greens. But I want the chart to show, you know, I have 4 greens, 1 yellow, 1 red. I'm going to show you the wrong way to do it first. So the first way that I thought to do it would be to sum the project, or sum the filter of the project list when project status dot value equaled green, we would then get the project status num. But then I realized that the sum equation was non-delegible. So I thought of a different way to combine this data. I'm going to show you how I did it. So what we would do is we would do a Forall statement, and then we would filter and collect the number of them. So we wouldn't use the sum equation. So I'm going to show you. So for all, so we would do for all, and we would filter the project list by the project status dot value is equal to green when it's equal to green. And what we're going to do after that is we're going to collect we're going to create a new collection. It's going to be green num. And what we're going to collect is the project, the num, we'll just call it num. Collect the num when it's the project status num. There we go. So I just need an extra parentheses. So this is going to be the green collect. And let's just check it out. So when I click on the green collect, right, we have 4 numbers in here because that's the number of green. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going to do the same thing, except for this time I'm going to do it when it's red. We'll make this bigger. So when it's red, we're going to collect the red num. And then when it's yellow, we're going to collect the yellow num. And we can do all of this concurrently, or like, you know, a lot of people like to do concurrent. Currently, we can do all of that. So concurrently, we're going to collect all 3 of those. All right, so now that we've concurrently collected those 3, now we can't do a clear collect here because it's during a for all statement. So I want to do at the top another concurrent, and I'm going to clear each one of those collections. Clear red num, and finally clear yellow num. And let's see, I forgot a parentheses here, and we should be good to go. Okay, so before we concurrently collect, we're going to concurrently clear each one of those. And finally, what we're going to do is we're going to create a new collection. And this new collection is going to clear collect, and it's going to collect all the rows. So it's going to clear collect, and we're going to call it combined. And we are going to count rows of green num, count rows of red num, and count rows of yellow num. And let's see, I probably forgot another parentheses. Oh. There we go. So now we've created another collection, and this is going to combine and count the rows. Instead of using the sum equation, we're going to combine and count. So now we've fully collected, cleared. So combined, we have 4, that's our green, 1 yellow, 1 red. Now let's put that into a chart. All right, so now let's get a pie chart. And in the items property of the pie chart, let's move it down a little bit. We're going to use our combined data. So there we go. We have 4, 1, 1. So this first one, let's change the color set. So for the first one, we're going to say green. And I believe that's our 4. Green. And then I think the next one we chose was red. And then the next one is yellow. So I just changed the item color set. So you can see we have 4, 1, 1. All right. So now we've done that correctly. Let's see, can we remove those labels? I just want to remove the labels. Show labels to false. Okay, and I'm just going to remove this legend here too. So now the chart title will be project status. All right, so now we have, let's create a new project just to make sure that we have the colors right. I'm going to create a new project. It'll be a regular project. It'll be, just make up some letters, project, and I want to make sure it's yellow. Initiate 10. Project lead will be Bart Simpson this time. So we'll choose him and save. All right, so now we notice that it has not collected yet. Let's recollect with our full collect button. So now you notice that our pie chart has populated correctly. This is really awesome. I feel like we're getting somewhere. All right, so now I'm going to take this collect statement, or this entire collect statement. I'm going to cut it out of the button click, and I'm going to put it on the home screen on visible. All right, so now let's create a new project and go back. It's populated. We got a really awesome project status here. We could put the labels in here. Maybe we want the labels actually. So let's go back to the labels here, and let's see here. Where did I do that at? It was show labels. Here we go. Show labels. Put that back on true. So now we have 4, 1, and 2. So we have 4 in green, 2 yellow, and 1 red, and that's all of our project statuses. So I'm gonna leave it here for now, and I'll keep creating this app, and we'll try and design something that mimics you know, what other people are doing here. So we can try and mimic what other people are doing here with their projects. But right now, we are showing the project status of all of our projects, and we're not running into delegation issues. Now, when I used that sum equation, we did run into delegation issues. So if you guys want to keep seeing this app as I build it out, please come check it out. Please like, subscribe. I appreciate everyone who is liking and subscribing. I hope these videos are helpful. Thank you. I'll see you next time.